we put up a nice video yesterday, got like 1,800 views in a day. So I think there's more of a receptive audience on TikTok for pro-Trump stuff, and there's a good thing on there that you should check out. Anyhow, let's get to the real news here. Nancy Pelosi continuously goes out there and preaches how the working man, the little people, Donald Trump favors the rich, and he's a racist, he's a xenophobe, and they're the regular people. She lives, you know, in a gated mansion with huge walls around, fence and walls all around her house. She's worth over $100 million, and she lives a life of privilege. I don't know how you accumulate $100 million when you're making $150,000 for the last 30 years, but I want to learn how to invest like her. I can tell you that. So she's telling everybody, you got to stay in, you got to wear your mask, you can't go out, you can't open salons. We're in a time right now where protesters can break into stores and rob things and light it on fire and not get arrested. And mom and pop want to open their store to feed their family, they get arrested. So it's crazy, all right? But Nancy Pelosi, she needed to get a dye job, okay? And she got caught in the act. The salon owner showed her walking through, no mask, all by herself, woman of privilege, okay? And to add insult to injury, let's take a look at how she apologized.
Take responsibility. So I said he's a weak leader. He doesn't take responsibility. He places blame on others.
I think that that this salon owes me an apology for setting up. It was a setup.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. Hey.
Nancy, you got to practice what you preach. That's what I'm thinking. Practice what you preach. You said Trump was not taking responsibility, and then you went out there and took responsibility for someone else setting you up. I take responsibility for falling for it. Okay, you didn't fall for it. You did what was your human nature. It was to live a life of privilege, and you didn't think there was anything wrong with it. And then you're caught on camera. And then, you know what? Just to put it in like regular man speak, okay? This apology, like, it reminds me like when a wife is yelling at her husband about something, and then the worst thing you could say is, "I'm sorry, you're mad." You know what I mean? Because then you're not sorry at all. You're sorry that you're so crazy that you're mad. So you're saying you feel bad for me. That's why you're sorry. She said, "I'm sorry I got set up." It's like a fake apology, no matter how you slice it and dice it.
Hey, Joe, 1 minute.
Anyhow, you know, ever since last May, everything we've been through, we've been bringing you the best guests on television, and you see them all over television, but they're still nice enough to hang out with us over here on Liquid Lunch. And one of them who's been with us from the beginning is Joe Pinion. He joins us right now, a Republican strategist, philanthropist, business leader, and television man extraordinaire these days, I see. How are you, buddy?
Hanging in there, man. You know, just living the Pelosi lockdown dream.
I'm waiting to see you on like MSNBC, because I feel like every channel I put on, there's a Joe Pinion. You know what I mean? And you're everywhere, kid. You're doing great.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. But you know, I got to check in with my Liquid Lunch family all the time.
Yeah. Now you're talking, brother. That's what I like to hear. So Joey, I was just while we were waiting to get you on there, I was just ranting a little about Nancy Pelosi and living her life of privilege, and her apology was like I said, when the husband is getting yelled at by the wife, and the guy says, "Well, all right, I'm sorry you're mad." You know what I mean? It's not really an apology, right? And that's what she just did to everybody. She said, "I'm taking responsibility. I'm sorry I got caught." It's the worst of hypocrisy.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's worse, the fact that she won't take accountability, or the fact that she's throwing somebody underneath the bus who's simply trying to make a living, which is basically what Democrats have done to all Americans. All across this country, from New York to California and everywhere in between, people who are simply trying to get their life back on track. They haven't given any semblance of what the plan will be. Joe Biden still hasn't laid out a plan for how we will get people back to work. He has certainly laid out a plan for for how he will actually send the economy into a tailspin. And while American sovereign debt is piling up like never before, we're going to have debt outpacing growth for the first time basically since the World War II. This is a disaster in waiting. And so I think if President Trump and Republicans can just get Americans to focus on the clear and present danger, that the plans or lack of plan that Democrats have for their life, I think we'll be in a much better place than continuing to kind of play this muddled game of emotions and whataboutism, because that's going to lead us nowhere but despair.
Absolutely. Joe, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but today is National U.S. Bowling League Day. So in honor of that, I'm going to set up these pins for you, and you just knock them down, okay?
Oh, man.
I've seen you talk about this on other shows, and I think you're like so on the money. This whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, we cannot in any way, shape, or form be trying to side with a person who murdered someone. If it's self-defense, the courts will figure it out, but it's not helping anything.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the reality. I think if we're going to be the party that says that we are for personal accountability, if we're going to be the party that stands here and says that we are the party of law and order, then we cannot be having, compassion for individuals who seemingly have taken law and order into their own hands, who seemingly, to try to absolve them of the type of accountability that we seemingly want for everybody else. And so I think we should be able to understand that in this moment of great desire for healing, where we're so divided over the issues of race, over the issues of healthcare, over the issue of mass, over pretty much absolutely everything. The one thing that there should not be disagreement on is the fact that when somebody decides to take a rifle and murder somebody, that we should be able to at least say that we have a system of laws, and those laws should have the full impact and full weight, irrespective of what you might think are the root causes.
Yep. I mean, I said the same thing, with the police officer with the Floyd murder. And I said, look, things like that, we all agree, can't happen no more. Same thing, all these, the Second Amendment folks and the gun rights people, they're already voting Trump all the way. So we don't need to kind of come down on the side of lawlessness when right now I think law and order and economy is going to win the day big.
Yeah, I think, let's be very clear. The safeguard for the Second Amendment is not the NRA, it's the Constitution. And the only thing that we can do in this nation to undermine the rights of gun owners is to start siding with gun nuts who have taken law and order into their own hands. And so it is unfortunate that you have someone that young who has ostensibly committed an act so heinous. But what we cannot do is somehow muddle that terrible outcome with our desire to make sure that we are not disenfranchised when it comes to Second Amendment rights. Use that desire to try to couple that with our stern and staunch notion that we should not be defunding police at a time we need more resources to do those things. These issues are all completely independent of the fact that there are people in Kenosha grieving the dead because somebody has basically gone out and taken law and order into their own hands. And so I think, again, as a party that prides itself on standing with law enforcement, that we give law enforcement that extra leeway because of the fact that we have to be a nation of laws, there is no room for a party that says that we believe in laws and we believe in justice and we believe in law and order to go out there and equivocate on the murder of American citizens.